What good YouTube? This is your boy Trey. We back with another video. Today we are reacting to Lil Durk react to his best friend THF Bayzoo getting killed in Chicago. While Lil Durk is in jail, his best friend get killed. So we can react to it and see how Lil Durk responds. Cause you know how he responded to King Von dying. Let's see if he responds in the same way or he moved different energies. Let's see.
One hit different. The streets of Chicago are in mourning right now, and Lil Durk, he's sitting in federal custody getting some of the worst news of his life. THF Bayzoo, one of his most loyal soldiers, one of OTF's day one hitters, got clapped up in broad daylight on the west side of Chicago. According to reports circulating on social media, Zoo was at a junkyard picking up car parts when a car pulled up and two goofies hooped out and opened fire on him with two other people.
3 men are in the hospital after a shooting. This happened around 3 this afternoon near 31st and St. Louis.
Bayzoo got hit 3 times, including one shot to the chest from a 7.62 Draco round. He was rushed to the hospital.
Can I just say, yo, what? He got, hold on, go back.
Shooting. This happened around 3 this afternoon near 31st and St. Louis.
Bayzoo got hit 3 times, including one shot to the chest.
He said 3 times. One shot to the chest, hitting him with a 7.62. Oh my God.
From a 7.62 Draco round. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, lost too much blood from the torso wounds, and according to tribute posts from his closest homies like Duty Low, CEO, Big 30, and Pooh Shiesty, he didn't make it. This ain't just another Chicago drill story, fam. This is about loyalty, brotherhood, and how everything Lil Durk built is crumbling while he's locked in a cell fighting for his life. Let's get into it. Who was THF Bayzoo? Before we show how Durks reacted to this tragic news, we gotta establish who THF Bayzoo really was, because this loss ain't just hitting Durk, it's devastating the entire THF and OTF family. THF Bayzoo was the leader of THF 46, not just a member, the actual leader running operations. This man was at the helm of one of the most dangerous sets on the south side of Chicago. THF 46 stands for Trigger Happy Family, and they control the 46th and Drexel area in North Kenwood. We talking about a hybrid gang type shit. Black Disciples and Mickey Cobras unified under one banner, and Bayzoo was calling the shots. But here's what separates Zoo from a lot of these other dudes. Man had a genuinely violent past that he was actively working to overcome. Bayzoo was connected to multiple bodies back in the day. He even caught a murder charge at one point and beat that case in court. Man was really living that savage life, no cap. He wasn't one of...
I'm telling you, this was kind of a big loss because I didn't know him, but like I just knew like him a little bit because like the internet and stuff. That's all I knew him about. Like I thought this nigga had nobody, nothing. I promise you.
These rappers playing gangster for the cameras. Bayzoo was authentic, and the entire city knew it. THF been in active wars with 051 Young Money, STL, EBT, Jaro City, 757, and Brick Squad. But they also built powerful alliances, O Block, 600, and most importantly, OTF. That's where Bayzoo's connection to Lil Durk solidified. These weren't surface-level rap affiliations. These were genuine street bonds forged through years of surviving the same trenches. But here's where Bayzoo's story takes a powerful turn. In 2018, after he came home from jail, man completely transformed his life. According to the No Jumper interview he did, Bayzoo and King Von both converted to Islam together that same year. They took their Shahada, started practicing the faith seriously, and were genuinely trying to turn their lives around. For someone who lived that violent street life for so long, converting to Islam represented a massive spiritual shift. Zoo was actively working to be better, trying to leave that destructive past behind. He still repped THF hard, he still handled business when necessary, but internally, Bayzoo was evolving into a better person through his faith. That's what makes this death even more heartbreaking. He was on a path of genuine transformation, actively trying to live righteously, and the streets still claimed him. Lil Durk's reality right now. Now, to understand why Bayzoo's death is destroying Durk emotionally, we gotta examine what Durk's experiencing right now. Because fam, this man is living through the absolute worst period of his entire life. October 24th, 2024. The feds arrested Lil Durk at a Miami airport while he attempted to board a private jet to Italy. They hit him with conspiracy to commit murder for hire for orchestrating a hit on Quando Rondo that killed Rondo's cousin Lul Pab back in 2022. We're talking about potential life in federal prison, fam. The man who was dominating the charts, winning Grammys, collaborating with Drake and J. Cole, now faces the very real possibility of never experiencing freedom again. And it wasn't just Durk. The feds simultaneously arrested 5 other OTF members that same day. The entire crew is staring down federal indictments and potential decades behind bars. The FBI built their case with banking records, flight manifests, surveillance footage, witness statements, everything. They claim Durk financed flights, hotels, rental cars for the entire operation. If the prosecution's narrative holds up in court, OTF is finished as an organization. But yo, the destruction doesn't stop there. While Durk's confined to that cell fighting for his freedom, his entire empire is collapsing in real time outside these walls. Federal agents froze his accounts, seized his assets, and threw his label deals into complete legal limbo. The money that sustained OTF's entire operation completely cut off. The empire he spent over a decade building from nothing, disintegrating day by day. And now, on top of everything else crushing him, he's losing his day one homies. Word traveled back to Durk behind bars that Bayzoo got killed. Imagine that reality, fam. You're already trapped in the worst situation imaginable, fighting federal charges that could imprison you forever, and then you receive word that one of your closest friends, one of your most loyal soldiers, just got gunned down on the exact same streets y'all grew up surviving together. That's the type of compounded pain that fundamentally changes a person. That's the kind of devastating news that forces you to question your entire life's trajectory. The tributes. Duty Low, Big 30, Pooh Shiesty. When the news broke about Bayzoo's death, social media erupted. But it wasn't just random people posting generic condolences. It was his closest homies, the people who genuinely knew him, who truly loved him like family. Duty Low, Bayzoo's best friend and OTF member, posted a powerful tribute on Instagram that immediately went viral. For those unfamiliar with their relationship, Duty Low and Bayzoo went way back. We're talking decades of friendship. They were more than just crew members. They were legitimate brothers who survived the trenches together. When Bayzoo died, Duty Low was among the first to publicly acknowledge the loss. That post resonated differently because you could genuinely feel the raw pain radiating from every word. This wasn't performative grief for social media engagement. This was authentic heartbreak from someone who lost a brother. Then CEO Big 30 from Memphis showed his respect. Now Big 30's connection to the entire OTF and THF family runs deep. When he posted about Bayzoo, it demonstrated how far Zoo's influence genuinely reached beyond Chicago's borders. This wasn't just the city mourning, this was the entire Southern rap ecosystem recognizing that they lost someone authentically real. Big 30's post was brief but incredibly powerful, showing proper respect to someone who carried himself with honor. Pooh Shiesty also paid tribute, and considering Pooh's dealing with his own serious legal battles right now out on a halfway house, the fact that he took time to honor Bayzoo speaks volumes about Zoo's reputation. When you got rappers from different cities, different sets, different legal situations all coming together to pay respects, that tells you everything about the impact this person had on the culture. But here's what's absolutely torturing Lil Durk right now. He's completely powerless to respond. He can't attend the funeral. He can't embrace Duty Low during this devastating time. He can't address his fans directly. He can't post a personal tribute on his own Instagram. He can't even drop a bag and get back for his best friend. He's confined to a cell, completely stripped of agency while his homie's life is being celebrated and mourned without him there. That's a uniquely cruel form of torture, fam. Being imprisoned while your people are dying outside, knowing you can't physically be there for them, knowing you can't offer protection anymore. That's the psychological hell Durk's navigating right now. Why Bayzoo was back in Chicago. Now let's break down why Bayzoo was even in that vulnerable position. Because according to street sources, Zoo being back in Chicago moving weight wasn't a casual decision. It was economic survival. See, when Lil Durk was free and generating millions from his music career, he took care of his entire team. That's what OTF represented. Only the family. Durk ensured his people were financially stable. He was distributing money, purchasing cars, covering legal fees, handling rent and bills for his whole crew. Bayzoo, as one of his closest day ones, was definitely benefiting from that support system. Man didn't need to risk street activity because Durk's success protected him. But when the feds locked Durk up, that entire financial structure collapsed instantly. The money stopped flowing. Federal agents froze accounts. They seized assets. The man who was sustaining everybody suddenly couldn't help anyone. And all those OTF members who depended on his generosity, they were suddenly facing harsh economic reality alone. According to people close to the situation, this is when Bayzoo made the calculated decision to return to Chicago and re-enter street operations. Word is, he started moving weed again purely to generate income, to pay bills, to simply survive day to day. Now some people might question, why didn't he just secure conventional employment? But fam, you gotta understand the brutal reality. When you're a known figure from THF, when you carry that street reputation, when you've lived that life for years, securing traditional employment isn't realistic. And even if he pursued it, what company's hiring someone with his documented background? So he returned to what he knew, moving product, generating money through street economy. But here's the critical danger. When you exit the streets and then return later, you're exponentially more vulnerable than before. Your enemies haven't forgotten you. They recognize you're not as protected as you once were. They view you as a prime target, especially if they sense you're operating without your previous level of security. That's what happened at that junkyard. Bayzoo was there picking up car parts, whether for personal use or business. He brought 2 other people with him, likely for security purposes. But someone knew his location. Someone was actively surveilling him. Someone was patiently waiting for exactly this opportunity to strike. Why it happened? So now everybody's demanding answers. Why did this happen? Who orchestrated it? And what motivated this level of violence? The first theory circulating is that this was a drug transaction that turned deadly. If Bayzoo was back actively moving weight, maybe he was at that junkyard conducting a meeting for business. Maybe it was supposed to be a straightforward transaction, but the other party had lethal intentions from the start. Maybe they planned to rob him. Maybe there was a financial dispute that escalated. Drug deals turning violent is one of the most common causes of death in Chicago. So superficially, this theory has merit. But here's what doesn't compute. Why would someone deploy a Draco firing 7.62 rounds for a simple robbery? That level of devastating firepower suggests this transcended stealing product or cash. That type of weaponry indicates something deeply personal, something meticulously planned. The second theory, and this is gaining the most traction throughout the Chicago drill community, is that this was direct retaliation for DMG Lil Scoom's death. See, last month, rapper DMG Lil Scoom was killed in Chicago. He was well connected. He was building momentum in the scene. And when he died, numerous people from his circle immediately started pointing accusations at THF members. We're talking about explicit social media posts, subliminal disses in songs, people from the streets openly claiming they knew who was responsible. And heavy...
I ain't never heard of DM whatever Lil School. I ain't never heard him. I heard of Lil School, but him not. I ain't
suspicion
never heard.
focused directly on THF 46. Now, I can't verify if THF was actually involved in Lil Scoom's murder, but the perception throughout the streets was that they orchestrated it. And in Chicago, street politics, perception might as well be documented fact. So the prevailing theory goes like this. DMG Lil Scoom's people had been strategically plotting on THF members since September. They'd been watching movements, waiting patiently for the perfect opportunity. And when they discovered Bayzoo was back in Chicago, when they learned he was operating in the streets again, when they recognized he was vulnerable without OTF's full protection, they executed their plan. This theory explains the excessive violence. This wasn't random street crime. This was a calculated execution, a message being brought broadcast to THF, a score being brutally settled. That's why they came equipped with that Draco. That's why they hit him 3 times, ensuring the job was completed. The timing supports this theory too. It's only been roughly a month since DMG Lil Scoom died and tensions were still critically high. If this theory holds truth, then Bayzoo died over beef that potentially had nothing to do with his personal actions. He got targeted because he represented THF, because his name carried significant weight, because killing him would send a devastating message to his entire organization. That's the cruel reality of Chicago street politics. Sometimes you die for situations you weren't even directly involved in. How Lil Durk is processing this. Now let's examine what Lil Durk is probably experiencing emotionally right now, confined to that federal holding cell, processing the death of one of his closest friends. First, there's overwhelming guilt consuming him. Even though Durk didn't pull any trigger, even though he was incarcerated when it happened, he's undoubtedly blaming himself. Why? Because if he hadn't gotten arrested, if OTF money was still flowing properly, Bayzoo wouldn't have needed to return to Chicago selling product. He wouldn't have been at that junkyard. He wouldn't have been exposed and vulnerable. In Durk's mind, his arrest directly created the circumstances that got Bayzoo killed. That type of guilt is psychologically crushing, fam. That type of self-blame can permanently break someone's spirit. Second, there's the suffocating isolation. Durk can't properly mourn his friend's death. He can't attend the funeral to pay final respects. He can't be physically present for Duty Low or the rest of THF during this trauma. He can't even post a public tribute on his own social media platforms. He's completely severed from the people and community he's been deeply connected to his entire existence. All he can do is sit in that cold cell and replay memories, remember all the times they shared, think about all the future plans they made that will never materialize now. Third, there's the devastating realization of exactly how much he's lost. It's not just Bayzoo, it's King Von, who died in 2020. It's other homies who've been killed over the years. It's his freedom. It's his empire. It's literally everything he sacrificed and worked for. And compounding all that loss, he's watching his rapper friends completely switch up on him now that he's facing serious federal charges. That's the harsh truth people rarely discuss openly. When you're on top, everybody claims loyalty. But when you fall, when you catch a major case, when the feds start investigating, most people disappear immediately. The same rappers who were constantly posting pictures with Durk, who were proudly claiming OTF affiliation, who were directly benefiting from his cosigns and industry connections. A significant number of them have gone completely silent now. They don't want that association anymore. They don't want federal agents examining their relationships with him. So Durk's sitting there having this brutal revelation about who's genuinely loyal versus who was just exploiting the benefits. And the ones who were authentically loyal, like Bayzoo, they're dying in these streets while Durk's powerless to protect them anymore. The bigger picture. Yo, let's zoom out and examine what's really unfolding here. This transcends just one person's death. This is about the perpetual cycle of violence, loyalty, and consequences that's been systematically destroying Chicago for decades. Lil Durk built his entire empire on the foundation of loyalty. OTF was supposed to represent family, a brotherhood where everybody protected each other. And while Durk was winning commercially, while he controlled money and resources, he could genuinely protect his people. He could keep them away from street activity. He could provide opportunities that didn't require violence or illegal activity. But the instant he got arrested, the moment that money stopped flowing, everybody immediately reverted to survival mode. And survival mode in Chicago typically means returning to street operations. It means taking risks you'd normally avoid. It means becoming vulnerable to enemies who never forgot about your existence. THF Bayzoo died because he was trying to survive after the OTF money completely dried up. He converted to Islam. He was actively working to transform his life. He was genuinely trying to be better. But when you've got bills demanding payment and zero legal income, sometimes you feel like you have absolutely no choice except returning to what you know. And that's the inescapable trap, fam. The streets never truly release you. Even if you exit, even if you achieve some success, the instant that success vanishes, you're immediately back where
Now it do make a little sense because if he left and then came back, probably his his people that he was hanging with, THF, it's hard to say because like, bruh, It's a weird name, but THF members was probably moving wrong during while he was gone, and while he came back trying to make money and have that leadership that he had over him. Like, it probably brung like, oh, okay, let's get their so-called leader up out of here and pay back for our homies. You feel me? It do make a little sense. So you feel me?
Started. And returning is frequently more dangerous than never leaving because now you're a significantly bigger target with more enemies watching. For Lil Durk specifically, this is his absolute worst nightmare manifesting in reality. He's fighting for his life in federal court, facing the genuine possibility of never experiencing freedom again, and while he's locked up, his day one homies are dying in the same streets he spent his whole career trying to help people escape from. The reality of loyalty. Let me keep it 100 about loyalty in this street life. Bayzoo's loyalty to Lil Durk and OTF was beyond question. When Durk got arrested on those murder-for-hire charges, when everybody else was distancing themselves, Bayzoo stood firm. He posted "Free Durk" when it wasn't safe to do so. He represented OTF until the very end. And what did that unwavering loyalty get him? It got him killed in a junkyard. Lil Durk couldn't protect Bayzoo because he was locked up. The OTF money that could have kept Bayzoo out of Chicago was gone. The empire that was supposed to take care of the family collapsed overnight. So what was all that loyalty for if the system could dismantle it in one day? The streets will tell you that loyalty is everything, that real, recognize real. But they won't tell you that loyalty might mean your mama planning your funeral before you turn 35. For Lil Durk, the loss of THF Bayzoo is another brutal reminder of how much he's lost. King Von, his best friend, killed in 2020. His blood brother killed in 2021, and other homies dead over the years. His freedom potentially gone forever. His empire in ruins. His day ones dying while he sits in a cell, powerless to help them. Will THF retaliate for Bayzoo's death? Will this trigger another round of violence?
I most definitely think they will. Like, cause like he he was a leader to them, so it made like other rappers think, okay, he a leader in Chicago, so let's, cause like King Von was basically the leader of OTF. Let's say that, cause as soon as Lil Durk showed him and put him on, he was making action. He was, but you feel me? I most definitely think they gonna retaliate. So if y'all enjoy this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.